Your child just aced their 10th grade exams. They scored perfectly, the family is celebrating, and you feel confident they are on the traditional path. But if their target is a top-tier institution, an IIT for engineering, Ames for medicine, or a national law university, those traditional board marks mean practically nothing. Admission to these highest-tier schools relies entirely on a single, brutally specific entrance exam. Scoring a perfect 600 out of 600 in regular high school subjects does not translate to cracking the JEE or clearing the strict cutoffs for NEET. The difficulty scales, the testing formats, and the required problem-solving speeds operate in completely different universes. Standard academic success up to the 10th grade proves a student can memorize and follow instructions. But to clear the most competitive entrance exams in the country, ambitious students need an entirely different strategy for the next 2 years. The biggest obstacle for these students is usually their own high school. Traditional 11th and 12th grade programs demand massive amounts of time and energy to secure board certificates that hold almost zero weight in entrance rankings. Many parents try to solve this with integrated coaching, sending kids to regular school all day and evening tuition at night. This is a compromise that leaves students chronically exhausted, dividing their focus across two conflicting curriculums. This flowchart illustrates a structural alternative, bypassing daily high school entirely through open schooling and pairing that enrollment with full-time coaching. Is pulling your child out of the standard school system a brilliant way to optimize time, or a dangerous gamble with their foundational education? In the world of competitive entrance exams, the primary constraint is time. Traditional schools consume the very hours that top-tier preparation requires. This comparison matrix shows the mechanical difference in the academic load. Over 2 years, a traditional student has to manage roughly 12 subjects across 11th and 12th grades, requiring them to study around 24 distinct textbooks. The payoff for that heavy workload is a widely recognized certificate and a standard, structured social environment where a teenager interacts with peers every day. Look at the NIOS academic footprint on the right. It drastically shrinks the workload, reducing the mandatory academic requirement down to just 5 core subjects. It also offers extreme mechanical flexibility. Students can split their exams, taking 2 subjects in Year 1 and 3 in Year 2. Furthermore, 50% of the questions are 1-mark objective types, which significantly cuts down the time required to prepare for the board exams themselves. But this efficiency comes at a cost. Taking this path requires the total sacrifice of the high school social experience, daily peer interactions, and the safety net of a predictable daily rhythm. NIOS intentionally strips away all academic and social bloat. It creates a minimalist, highly specialized footprint that isolates the student so they can focus on one specific goal. This comparative bar chart shows exactly how your day changes. By dropping traditional schooling, you instantly free up roughly 6 to 8 hours every single day. This is the core time arbitrage of the strategy. Those recovered hours aren't for leisure. They must be immediately and entirely reallocated into specialized full-time coaching academies. These academies are professional preparation environments, operating exclusively according to the logic of the target entrance exam. Subjecting a teenager to 8+ hours of identical, high-pressure material every day without the mental breaks of a normal school creates a massive risk of severe burnout, and there is zero backup plan. If the student spends 2 years in isolation and fails the entrance exam, they are left with a generic open school certificate and no standard college fallback. This makes the optimization strategy an aggressive, high-risk, high-reward investment. The entire academic strategy relies on a single exam outcome. From a purely legal standpoint, this strategy is entirely valid. NIOS is a legitimate educational board, recognized directly by the central government of India. An NIOS certificate allows students to legally sit for all major entrance exams, whether that is JEE, the medical NEET, CLAT, or CA, on the exact same footing as a CBSE or state board student. But the real challenge is the social stigma. Relatives, peers, and casual observers often culturally view open schooling as a remedial path, assuming it's meant only for students who failed regular school. Facing that constant skepticism takes a psychological toll. The student needs exceptionally thick skin to handle the judgments, and the parents must hold a high level of defensive conviction in their choice. The government fully validates this time arbitrage strategy, but society does not. Families who take this path must be prepared to fight an uphill battle against cultural expectations. This suitability matrix maps the two specific variables you need to measure to see if this option works for your family: your child's self-discipline on the bottom and your own level of parental involvement on the side. The top right area is the only place this works. It requires a fiercely independent student who is already crystal clear on their career goal, whether that's engineering, medicine, or law. In this green zone, parents must possess high strategic awareness. You have to actively manage the grueling coaching schedule, monitor for burnout, and act as a shield against the social stigma. Every other quadrant is a danger zone. Students who are still deciding on their career, or who need external pressure from teachers just to sit down and study, will crash in this isolated environment. Likewise, if parents are uninformed or too busy to actively manage the process, the strategy will backfire spectacularly, leaving the child stranded without a net. The open schooling route is not a universal hack. It is a highly specific, extreme tool that demands a perfect match in family dynamics to execute safely. Enrollment in NIOS shifts a student's entire focus, reallocating finite energy away from generic schooling and toward one high-stakes outcome. Before pulling the safety net of traditional schooling away, you must honestly and objectively assess whether your child has the intrinsic motivation to sustain years of isolated, high-intensity prep. You also have to look inward. Assess your own capacity to manage, defend, and guide an unconventional trajectory while everyone else is walking the standard path. Success in this landscape requires the courage to match an educational structure to a specific goal, even when that path defies traditional expectations.